Hi everyone, my name is Hiren and this is Bajik's Cabin Chronicles, a series where we explore the know-hows, the bits and the personal lives of some of the senior executives of Bajaj Allianz General Insurance Company. And today our very first guest is Miss Alpana Singh. She's the Head of Bancassurance, Agriculture and Government Business at our very own Bajik. Hi ma'am, we are very pleased to have you here.
Hi, Hiren. It's my pleasure to be here talking to you.
First of all, we would like to congratulate you for 20 years at Bajik now. You have completed, and you have always been a shining light, a guiding beacon for all of us here. And we would like to just know about your experience and just how you got here and all of these years and 2 decades worth of experience, of knowledge, of wisdom. So, the first question I would like to ask, uh, what habits did you have in your childhood or something of that sort that, in your early life when you got influenced that got you here today?
So, actually, there are two things. One, I was the eldest of my four siblings, and my mom was also a working woman at that time. So, we would come from school, and I would take care that my siblings and I together, the food was laid down on the table, but they had it properly. And by the time my mom came, at least they would, change their clothes and sit and start doing their homework. So that was inculcated from the very childhood. But most importantly, I was when I was in my 10th, I was selected as the house captain for one of the houses, and we had four houses. And that, I think, if you know what a house captain does, it's all about leadership. You have to be, always focused, committed, competitive, so that your house wins. You have to keep motivating your team. You have to become a positive model for the students. Then you have to liaise with the principal, with the teachers, with the staff of the school, and also with the students, and always be very cheerful. And that's how, that's what a leadership is all about. So I think that was a period where that taught me to be, a good empathetic leader, plus also work in a team. Because when there used to be inter-school competition, then all the four house captains would together work towards the success of her school. So all of this, as of now, you see, these are the qualities that a leader should have also. So I think that was a very big influence in my life.
Yes, absolutely, ma'am. And something that you mentioned was having to liaison with the principal as well as kind of guide the younger students. So that sort of put you in a place where you had both perspectives
Yes.
on towards the senior level as well as towards the junior level.
Very true. In fact, we used to have a monthly steering committee kind of a stuff where all the four captains and the head girl and our principal we used to sit and we used to have tea and chat
Yeah.
as to what more we should do for school and what other things we should do.
Yeah. And I think that's a big part of the collaborative process that we always talk about. Like in a lot of companies, in a lot of schools also, we see that one department does not know what's happening in the other. But here, that unity is there that, a lot of companies say that we are a family, but here is a place where it truly feels like that. And it is because of leaders like you and your experiences that that culture has been inculcated in this organization. Another interesting thing I read about you, and this is something I ask on a personal level as well, because you have completed a BA in English, and
Yes.
so have I.
Oh,
So
nice.
I wanted to ask, how was this journey from BA in English to insurance and working in the business side of insurance?
Yes, so actually, there's a big story, behind it. But I was studying to be a doctor, a medical doctor, and I had science in my school in my class 12, and then my father decided that I should get married because we were getting a good boy, in government service and all that. So at a very young age of 17, I got married. And then, of course, medical would have been very difficult because staying with a family. Then my the feeling for arts, because I love to read a lot, and then English literature was something. My mother is also an English literature student, so I just wanted to emulate her and become a teacher. Really. So I took up English literature, and then my husband said, okay, why don't you appear for these competitive exams? It was in his mind that, I have this capacity to go for a good job, a government job. At that time, there were no private companies. And so I got started taking all these competitive exams. So my science background helped me because all of these had lots of maths and science questions also, and general knowledge. And English literature, of course, I think since you are a student of English literature, I think your perspective and logical thinking and many things, because you have read such a wide range of books and, thought processes and all that. So we decided to take up all the government jobs, at least the competitive exams. And I took the general insurance exam and I got through in GIC, and they put me in Oriental Insurance. So I joined Oriental Insurance in 1989. And then till 2004, I was in Oriental Insurance. In January, I moved to Bajaj Allianz. And this has been my second company and will be my last. That's
a really interesting perspective, and something that you said that resonated with me is English literature students. Like, they read so much from the past, and they read throughout timelines. They read from Victorian era to Shakespeare, and even after that, a lot of Indian literature is something we read as well. So we get to learn a lot of different perspectives, and this journey from English literature to insurance is something that very few people we sort of make. It's usually the path not taken, if I may say, as a literature
absolutely,
student.
absolutely. In fact, I had got my admission in MEd in English in St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, and I was all set to get there. But my husband just hid the fact that I have been chosen there, because he very, very seriously thought that I had the capability to get into a good, corporate kind of a job and do well there. So I think he was proved right.
And ma'am, you are anyway a teacher for all of us, even yours. So I'm guessing your dream of becoming a teacher also came true.
Came true. Yes, you're right.
So since we're talking about teaching, were there any teachers in your school life or a principal or any sort of, a figure that you looked up to that sort of influenced your lifestyle now, your leadership style now?
So I would say there was one teacher, but she was a history teacher actually, who used to motivate me a lot. That I remember very well, and I still have not forgotten her. I'm also connected to her on Facebook because I really used to emulate her a lot. But more than that, my mother, she has been a very, very strong influence in my life. And she, during those times in Bihar, she completed her education when all her 4 children were there, and then she completed her English MA, MA, taught in the college, then would teach us in at home also, and then give us all the the right kind of upbringing, and still motivate us to do well across. And that was not now you can think about that, parents do that, but during those times, I'm talking about so many years back, in the 1980s, when we were young teenagers, or late 70s. That was a time when these things were not very much there. But she asked us, she motivated us to play sports. She motivated us to lead, in the school, at home, and in any other area, and to compete. And yet, do very well in school. And of course, my father also, very, very strong influence. They were my main teachers, basically, mother and father.
And I think that's where the family support comes from, right? Like, your family has to be supportive of you since day one.
Yes,
and they are kind of the people who we spend the most amount of time with for a very long time, until probably we start working, and before that friend circle thing comes in. So me as a 25-year-old now, I can sort of say that, I've moved away from the parents, but I've still I've learned a lot from them. My mother herself is a yoga teacher, so that kind of fitness discipline I try to get from her. But that's something that I completely agree with, that, the people around you, not just your family, but your colleagues, your friends, they have to be supportive.
Yes.
They have to sort of, not just supportive, but they have to even tell you no. They have to tell you no.
Yes.
At times, yeah, for you to really build yourself. So continuing on the same thing, when you said that your mother was doing everything, she was working, she was helping you with your studies, helping your siblings with your studies. How do you now, such you're such at a big post, How do you maintain that work-life balance that people usually ask about?
So frankly, I would say there is no such thing as true work-life balance. There cannot be a complete balance. So what you have to do is, you have to juggle a bit, and then you have to create a good support system. If you don't do that, then you're going to be in big trouble. And it's just that you have to give quality time and ensure that if you are not able to give time to your children, then they should have someone there behind their back, to back them up, whether your spouse or your parents or your in-laws, your sister, brother, siblings, neighbors. And believe me, I have taken help from everyone. I've taken help from my parents, my in-laws, I have taken help from my neighbors. Because I'll tell you, when I was even studying, I was doing my graduation, and I had a little child, a few months old, and I was in Shillong, and I would sit in front of, it was month of December, very, very cold there, and I would sit in front of the fireplace with my baby in my lap, and I would study. And still I got a very good position. I got second position in the university, missed by a few marks to get to the first position. So that's how it is, because I had support.
Yeah.
So when I would go to college, my neighbor in Shillong, she had, her mother was there, and she would actually take care of the baby. She said, you go to college, I'll take care of the baby. So, it's just luck also that,
Yeah.
and then the support system you create. So that's how it worked out very well for me. But frankly speaking, work-life balance is all about juggling.
Yeah.
And it's not something, and it is for you, how you make your choices also. So, you have to make a choice. Okay, today I have to be at my child's PTM, or no, work is more important, so I'll tell someone else to be there. And the child will understand. They understand.
And these are the kind of experiences that sort of mold you as a person, like the experience you told about when you were 17.
Yeah.
When I was 17, I was just asking my parents for more pocket money. Like that was the kind of this thing. But again, to each his own, like every experience makes, that's why there's like 1.5 billion unique individuals in India. So that sort of experience is something that we are hoping that, through this series, we give your wisdom, your experience to others, that they learn from you. They learn from your experiences. Moving on, what would you say is on similar lines? What would you say would be the one small piece of advice that you would give to people such as myself who are in their 20s and was just starting off with their career?
Yeah, what I would say is, you have to aim big, but you have to be ambitious, because if there is no ambition, then that's also okay. Nothing is wrong or right, but you have to make your thoughts very clear as to what you want to do, first of all. And now you're luckily at an age where you don't have to think only, I have to work in a government job, I have to do this, I have to become a doctor or an engineer or nothing else, or a government job. Now the times are that there are immense opportunity for you youngsters. Ambition should always be, there, but there should be empathy, there should be a lot of focus, and lots of hard work. Nothing succeeds like hard work. And you cannot have something in your lap just like that. You have to work for it. And if you have got something very easy, even then, to maintain that, you have to work very hard again. So there's no other way of being successful other than working very, very hard for it.
Yeah, as the saying goes, like there's no substitute for hard work. Like, and I read this somewhere that the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yes.
So
actually, that's completely true. It's only if you work hard that luck favors you too.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that piece of advice. Like, I do believe that people my age, including myself, we sort of, even though we have the ambition, we lack clarity. And because of things like social media and just so much happening in the world, we do get a little confused as to, what do we do? How do we do it? And I feel there's this thing of creating an impact in the world. Like, a lot of people don't want to, just do their work and go back home. They want that work to reflect in the world somewhere, somehow. So that is something that was an incredible piece of advice, and it was great talking to you. Thank you so much for being here for our very first episode, and we once again congratulate you for 20 years at Bajaj now.
Thank you so much. And it was really pleasure talking to you. And I must say, my last piece of advice, follow your heart. And I'm sure you'll succeed. And all you youngsters, follow your heart. Thank you.
So as you heard, please do follow your heart, go for it, and we shall see you again in the second episode of Cabin Chronicles. Thank you so much.